So here we are looking at the Venture Oracle, which is a women's kind of free ride board, kind of with a touch of all mountain. It's got a little bit of everything. It's, as you can see from the camber profile, it's flat between the feet, just a little past the bindings, then going to a pretty generous rocker in the nose and likewise in the tail. So, you know, giving it a lot of float and a little bit easy to wheelie. It's a pretty stiff board, especially for a women's board, but with this lifted tip and tail, it's definitely more forgiving than you would think. So, you know, this is just for you to get an idea of what it's like on the table. I love this just simple, easy base, pretty easy to repair, I believe. I think this gray is down below inside a clear base. So the only thing you have to worry about hitting is this lifted part. Most of your damage will be done in the flat section, so that's good. You can also see it's just got a really cool kind of like pass-through, slightly translucent kind of thing into the wood, and it's got a really good look in person and on and in their pictures. So let's get into a little bit of the stance width. So you're kind of looking at the minimum stance width with a normal binding of 19 and a half. And if you want to set it all the way back, you're looking at about a 22-inch stance on a 147. So it's a little bit on the wider side, and I kind of like that. But looking at a 22-inch stance width, which is a little big for women, but let's just show you kind of what the setback on board is doing. Because most of the time when they talk about setback, they talk about setback on side cut. So setback on board is really like, kind of like how far back, how much directional float you have. Setback on side cut usually means like, how weird is it gonna be when you turn it around and ride fakie or ride it the other direction. So you're looking at just about 51 and a half centimeters, and about 20 and a quarter. And then on the back, it's 15. So it's 5 and a quarter back, or 38 centimeters there. But 5 and a quarter inches back on board, which is a lot for kind of like a board that's just kind of bordering on the free ride world of riding. This is kind of perfect for those people who spend most of their time riding directional, but they don't want something with too much taper, and they like that kind of more double-ender feel. Because I think this only has like, it has less than 10 millimeters of taper. I think it's like -7. So the tail is not that much narrower than the board, so it's less likely to be a little more washy. You know, edge hold with Venture boards is pretty solid. They just know how to make a board grip the snow, even with a traditional side cut. It requires maintenance though, but it's pretty good, and it's got a really nice stable feel underfoot. It's just, you know, it's gonna 1 foot off the chair or flat base really well, but still have that float and powder. The only thing that's kind of missing is that dynamic pop out of a carve. But other than that, the board all in all does a great job for anybody looking for powder and just looking to kind of do their thing in a directional way on the mountain. So that is a look and just kind of a good feel as to what this looks like in person under pretty lights, and to give you an idea of what kind of setback on board you can get. And you can just subtract 0.75 for every one you move up. Let's say, for example, if you have Burton bindings and you're limited to each option here. So there you go.